Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. In a move not even Johnny Carson could have seen coming, the ATF has announced what they're calling a new era of reform. And maybe they are turning over a new leaf. Maybe we are looking at a kinder, gentler ATF, but I can't help notice all the usual buzzwords: accountability and modernization and consistency, and not a lot of substance.
Reflectors indicate no solid substance.
I don't know what I really would expect them to say, though. It's not like they're just gonna admit their entire mission has been to violate constitutional rights from the beginning. But this line did stand out to me. This is not the same ATF of the last 4 years. That's cool, I guess, but it's not like they started burning kids and shooting dogs 4 years ago.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
I'd like to hear about how they're not the same ATF of the last half century. Call me a cynic, but this sounds less like reform and more like reputation laundering. The bullet points they list are mostly pretty minor procedural things. They did point out their cessation of the no tolerance policy, and NFA wait times are dramatically improved. That will all go to hell when each of us starts spamming them with a dozen Form 1 applications to build silencers and SBRs next year when the $0 tax goes into effect. So get your whisper pickles now, I guess.
I love pickles.
But even with a less openly hostile chief executive, these are the same people we had to wrestle over braces, frames and receivers, and forced reset triggers. And the same guy is still in charge who decided to ban bump stocks by royal decree. So you'll forgive me if I don't get all misty-eyed reading their pledge to foster trust.
Mother should have trust the government.
But hey, it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by Red Team Armory. Veteran-owned Red Team Armory is America's go-to for tactical gear. Whether you are defending freedom or dominating the range, they've got the tools you need to stay ready. Their red, white, and blue spirit shines through with unbeatable selection and service. Head on over to Red Team Armory right now to gear up like a true American. Let's keep the land of the free armed to the teeth. At the beginning of this month, both South Dakota and Wyoming joined a dozen other states where students and staff with permits can carry concealed handguns on public, college, and technical school campuses. In South Dakota, you'll need an extra special government permission slip called an enhanced permit. But hey, I guess that's better than we have here in Arizona, where higher education means lowered expectations of personal safety.
Lowered expectations.
Now, you gentlefolk know there is no data showing campus carry increases violence, and, well, the data proves homicide, suicide, and accident rates have not budged in states that allow campus carry. Schools can, of course, still prohibit weapons in high-risk zones like labs, hazardous material facilities, or events with extra security, but there is no moral or legal justification to disarm adults on campus. Well, the state of New York is making more political prisoners. Daniel Krobeck is a Peaceable father of 2 in Medford, New York, who has been married for 17 years and had the same job for the last 12 years without ever being in trouble with the law. And New York's finest thug enforcers threw him in the struggle-cuddle cage for having guns without the pleasure of the crown. Don't get me wrong, this Chad non-complied his ass off considering New York's SAFE Act. Cops found 112 ghost guns and 67 silencers.
Impressive.
And they even found terrifying things like pistols and telescoping. Now, I'm sure they're gonna claim my man was trafficking, but first off, trafficking arms is a human right. Can I get an amen? And second, these were printed, so it is very likely a lot of them were just failed prints. On the other hand, undercover oathbreakers were able to buy guns from him, so he clearly was willing to do a solid for a neighbor. But that doesn't mean he was the armorer for the AB either.
Another acronym? Yes!
I couldn't find any reference to how they came to find out about this guy, but one scheme that's real common that you folks need to know about is the federal government routinely spies on everyone's online purchases without a warrant. And I do mean everyone. And when they find 3D2A related purchases coming from authoritarian states, they go ahead and narc out the purchaser to the local jackboots. I know that probably sounds like I'm being highly speculative, to put it gently, but it's true. I have proof, and I'll link down there in the doobly-doo. Of course, cops don't usually come out and admit it, but in Boston last year, they did. In an official press release from the Office of the Attorney General, no less. Homeland Security Investigations' New England Cybercrimes Group, which is a part of ICE for some reason, discovered some guy had bought items which could be gun parts, and they ratted him out to the state of Massachusetts. So be careful out there, guys. When I think about Vermont, I think about the first permitless carry state. A state so based, it never had any law prohibiting the carry of arms in the first place. Then I realize it is currently occupied by crazy control freaks. You will remember the ATF was forced to settle with rare breed triggers, admitted that FRTs are not machine guns, and was forced to return the FRTs they had stolen from rare breed and customers. But Vermont Attorney General Charity Clark, along with 15 other AGs, sued to prevent the return of the stolen property on the grounds that FRTs are unlawful in their jurisdictions. And they just won. Let me explain why that is utterly insane.
It's insane.
Now, I mentioned that Clark is claiming FRTs are illegal in Vermont, but she based that argument on this statute, which says you can't have a machine gun while hunting. And she argues that federal law considers FRTs to be machine guns, but it doesn't. It never did. The ATF claimed that to be the case, but they lost, and as a result, were forced to return the triggers. Vermont statute does not define machine gun or even mention FRTs, so there is no possible way for an FRT to fall under Vermont statute in any way. But even if we pretended that FRTs are magically machine guns, this statute only prohibits their possession while hunting. Now, I'm not a lawyer because my parents were married, but this is probably the most completely bonkers ruling I have ever seen. What do you folks think? Did I miss something? And lastly, the GOA is suing the US Postal Service to end their ban on mailing handguns. This is more important than it might at first appear because independent carriers have the right to refuse to ship handguns, or for that matter, rifles or shotguns or whatever they want, really. If those private carriers were to stop shipping firearms, it could cripple the gun industry and make it very difficult to buy guns that are not made near wherever you live. So forcing the Postal Service to deliver handguns gives us a safety net and forces competition. Now, before I give you that moment of zen I know you skipped ahead for, it's okay, I still love you. I have to do that thing YouTubers do and remind you that the tube of views often unsubscribes people from wrongthink just like this. So be sure to primary that like button and drill the third hole on the subscribe button. If you think we earned it, of course. And now for your moment of zen. Hello, friend. Do you like pews and pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure American pew propaganda at the low, low price of... We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.